I mean, hey guys, welcome. Hey guys, quiet in the back. They're not actually making noise, but there is more people in the office now. They were supposed to make a bunch of noise Oh, there we go. That was good. Actually, it's kind of quiet in the office today. We have less people than normal. But it has been a busier week. We're kind of settling back into the office. People are resuming life. It's good to be back streaming. Speaking of resuming life, okay, so I don't have my usual. I need to set up a separate chat window because I realized I did not have my iPad. So give me a second here, and hopefully I can see the stream. It's gonna make noise though unless I pause it. Ugh, I don't hear myself. Okay, sweet. Hey Fox, welcome. Ryan, good. Oh, sweet, good. Good to see everybody. So yeah, we're back a little bit. I'm feeling better. I had a cold, not the vid. Took a took, got a test. It's not the COVID. Just a cold, but was kind of under the weather last week, so I missed that. But the plan is I'm gonna do this week as kind of a makeup for last week, and then next week right back on the same schedule. So we're gonna try to kind of reset and next week keep going. So that's at least the plan. It could always change, but it's good to be back. We've got, of course, like 3 weeks worth of stuff to get updated on. So let me see here. We can switch on over. And my VM died. For those of you that remember last time, I thought it had to do something with the way I was capturing, and my machine was really sluggish. Nope. It turns out just that VM was, I don't know, it was real bad. So fresh VM. I don't have things the way it's set up. They were quite the way they were before. I haven't missed my little tiling window manager, but just got a stock Ubuntu 2210 VM kind of set up like real quickly right before this. I was trying to get the Binder Ninja icon on the desktop actually working right. But looks like that got done, and we've got ourselves, so this has been just stable build here. So actually I could make different icons, but I'll probably just launch it the way I did the other ones, which is I've got Binder Ninja stable, dev, and test, just folders that I can run stuff out of. So thanks, Game Mind. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. It's just, it was like a cold. It was just kind of annoying. Like first couple days were really obnoxious, and then it's just irritating, and I kind of didn't want to be in the office, so I didn't get to hang out with everybody. But it is fun. The last 2 days I've been feeling much better. I might still cough randomly in the middle of the stream, so if you hear people fleeing 2 rooms away or something, that's them just taking precautions. Actually, we should turn on like our air filters again. But anyway, yeah, so let's see. We've got first we'll do the updates. I'm actually really excited about our topic this week because we've got a nice feature that's coming along. And first though, let's start with look at our issues that have been closed and sort by recently updated, right? I think that was the option to use. I think Kyle mentioned before there was something I did wrong last time, but I think that was it. All right, let me make sure I'm on the right. I gotta join our stream channel in the office so that people can tell me if something else is going wrong. So okay, cool. Yeah, actually, these are speaking of Kyle. I just noticed he landed a couple of bugs in quick succession. Closed out a couple of bugs here, and one that's not going to show up here that I know he also did was, oh, I miss having my virtual desktops. Let me get my hotkeys. I'm going to be trying to do that. In the plugin manager, the Dwarf import tool has been updated to 1.1.0, which I think is going to fix a number of bugs that were filed that got closed out on that particular plugin. So if you look, there's a couple new recently closed bugs here as well. It also, most importantly, fixed it for the 3.0 API refactor. And I think it even pulled in some upstream changes that one of our other guys, Tim, is writing some of the code that this plugin relies on. And it is a new version of that too. So it should actually be kind of like even more accurate, pulling in more dwarf information. So that plugin just got updated. Although I think I saw a question from Pag in the Slack earlier about how you load dsym files, which I don't know is a current feature. So I was actually interested in that myself. Maybe if Kyle's watching, he'll reply. But Oh yeah, is the audio? Yeah, audio. Okay, it looks like I'm transmitting audio. And obviously, hopefully, y'all would have said something if you couldn't hear me. Wouldn't be the first time I've been talking to an empty mic though. So, all right, we've got these guys closed, and this. Let's see, when was our last stream? I know there's been a couple of our bug bashes. So again, if you're not familiar, we kind of updated our schedule a couple months ago, where we try to every Thursday now really pick out like a bunch of little low-hanging fruit and little bugs that we can just fix really quick in like an hour or so. So they've kind of like been piling up, and it's like if we just spend a couple days, we can really get a large number of them down. And I would say that we were fairly successful in that. That's absolutely happened. We still have over 500 kind of open issues right now, but we were creeping up much higher. So there's easily 40 or 50 bugs that have been closed out in the last several weeks due to those kind of Thursday pushes, the Thursday bug bashes. As part of the problem is some of them got they turned into like a little bit bigger. So I think, in fact, I'm curious, does this one, I don't remember if this one's still assigned to me, but I for example was working on one that I was like, oh, that'd be really fast. Oh, it's not actually assigned to me. It probably should be. I was working on the one I wanted to be able to load type information from a source file, right? So right now, if I open some random test file and I can actually call the, I think it's binary or bv.platform.parse types from source file, and I can actually give that a file name, some include directories, and so I can give it like some .h files and some .c files, and be like, please take all type information from these and add them to the types in this binary, right? So I can load those up from some file. It's a really useful feature, and it's entirely hidden behind an API right now. And it would be nice to just throw it a UI. I kind of was overzealous though, and so like I built a real quick prototype, and it worked. It was fine. It was functional. But the problem was, as soon as I started thinking like, well, I don't really want to do, like, you don't really want to just give a single file. You actually need to include a UI for including the include directories, because if you've got other headers that are referenced, you want to be able to point at the appropriate includes to recursively go find all of the types and to resolve even all the types. You couldn't otherwise even do it. So that kind of sent me back to the drawing board, and I started working on different prototypes and stuff. So some of these features have taken a little bit longer, but like a good example of one that I know that did land was this export linear disassembly. So this is one that Andrew actually was working on. So I could, for example, just dump out the disassembly for this mega test. And if I look, I've now got mega test. And you'll notice that it should do it. Oh, high-level IL. Whichever view you're in, so if you're in a high-level IL view, or if you're in assembly or a low-level IL view, although actually, now that I look at it, yeah, linear disassembly is probably not the right word here. We probably need a different kind of word. Oh, Fox, you and your crazy bomb. So I want to get somebody better than me at reverse engineering on stream. So my goal is to try to convince some of the other Vector 35 people to come do that, because I'm just like, I feel embarrassed showing off like the product when I feel like I'm just such a bad reverse engineer. So maybe that's okay. Maybe y'all are fine with getting the mediocre person. But I also, honestly, I think it's just more fun to have multiple people. So my goals are, I'm trying to schedule times where other people can join me on stream, can be looking at the same thing, we can be video sharing and kind of collaboratively do it. So that's my plan for the next ones that we do. And Crazy Bomb is still on the menu. So not today probably, but at some point. So keep asking. I do plan to do it. So linear disassembly, it says disassembly, but again, it really is like whatever view you actually had up. So I think if I switch to, I think this is what, medium level IL, and then so I can just trigger it via the command palette as well. And you'll notice it does actually, oh, I didn't see that before. Yeah, it changed the name appropriately too. So now I'm going to dump the medium level IL. It's going to put that mega, really? Oh, this is not the real VM. That's right. This is, I told you I hadn't set this VM up right. So that password, I don't even remember. This is like the throwaway VM that my name is not William. That's just the name I use on all of my VMs. So yeah, y'all ever see something super malicious out there? William was the username on it. No, it wasn't me. I don't actually write malicious software, but Mr. Glass, that is a great question, and we do get asked that one a lot. So for everybody else, the question was, can you take some bytes, right? Like if I'm in, linear view here, and I've got some bytes that are not inside of a function, and I want to disassemble them. I don't want to turn them into a function. I just want to disassemble them. No, we actually don't let you do that right now. There's a couple ways that you can kind of hack around it. But the easiest one is we just tell people like, go ahead and just make a function. Just hit P and have it actually make a function. Because part of the problem with like disassemble is like when should we stop? Like just the next time you hit any other variable. And none of our disassembly right now will do what's so technically, there's two types of kind of broad types of disassembly: recursive descent and linear disassembly. Recursive descent says I start disassembling, and if there's control flow, I'll take both paths of the control flow, but I'm following how the code actually goes. And the other way to do it, linear sweep, is often, we've actually used the phrase linear sweep for something entirely different, which is our just function identifier. But what most people mean when they say linear sweep is just start disassembling, like sweeping through and just create disassembly everywhere you go, and show me, like ignore stuff that doesn't kind of line up, like on x86 where it's variable width. You kind of have to, you just go to architecture boundaries, or do you try it every offset and see what looks like it's good? There's a couple different ways you could think about it. But the question is like, our linear, the idea, turning something into just code that doesn't have a function is actually not a concept Binary Ninja supports right now. And so we do get asked every now and then about it. Most of the time, in my opinion, like most use cases are you just hit P. And there's a couple of tricks you can do, like if you're running into like a byte here, for example, that is a type of opcode or instruction that is stopping the control flow, like it's breaking the graph. You could actually modify the architecture, or you could just go patch it. Like if we were actually in disassembly views, right? So I'm in medium level IL. So when I created that function, it just showed me the results in medium level IL. But if there is something here and you want it to keep going, you can also just right click on it and patch, convert to NOP, and then it will just keep going to whatever the bytes were after it. But you do run the risk of like messing up the functions that were there beforehand. You can cause some kind of weird behavior that happens. I'm at some point we'll absolutely implement that. So, Mr. Glass, a very long answer to your question, but yeah, it is a good question. Most of the time the answer is do that. The other thing you could do, actually, again, you can actually whip up a really quick snippet. If you just want to be able to say like, hey, disassemble the bytes in here, you could do something that's like, oops, I was not focused down there, was I? I hit F to make them all floating points accidentally. Okay. I can from the scripting console, I can actually do current selection. That's giving me the start and end address. And so I could do something like for, actually I would probably do like a while true loop or something. And I would just start at the current selection.start, right? And then I would say if, so let's do adder equals start. If adder great, and then let's do maybe end is the end. Oops, Ned. Thanks, Ned. if adder greater than, or do like a while loop in here. I'm just kind of like prototype this out, right? And then it would basically do the bv.arch.get disassembly, I think. No, disassemble. It's get. It's the API. If you've got an architecture, get instruction text, right? So I can say exactly, give me the instruction text for the address that I'm currently at. Is that all it? I have to give it now. What are the two? So I need to give it, oh, right, the bytes and the address that it happens at, right, absolutely. So the bytes are bv.read from address, and we'll read just 16 bytes because that's the maximum instruction length that we can get. Yeah, thanks, Game Mind, exactly. Aim is and is equal to the second argument there. And then we're going to do the address that I'm doing this at is actually address. Like, what's the virtual address, right? Because the disassembly module needs to know what the address is. And so that's just going to give me, well, like if this was an instruction, it would be an inverse. So I could just iterate over that. The other nice thing about this is it's telling me that's 4 bytes, right? This particular instruction here would be a 4-byte instruction. And so I can just do that loop. And then next would be adder plus equals, or let's see. Oops. Oh. New hotkeys in this VM. Maximize again? Now we're down here. Sure. Instruction equals that. They can do like print instruction sub 0. I think that's actually we want to do like I think that's a list of tokens. So something like that. Instruction sub 1 is going to be like the length of it. Yeah, so these are actually, you'd want to like do this with a map or something, or actually I think you can just do the repr on it. So we can just leave it. Ooh, yeah. Still figuring out the hotkeys here. Like this one maybe? You do repr of that. That should do it. Right, so this is just going to like increment us over each instruction, and we just wrap that up until our address is greater than end. Right, and once that's true, then we would stop by that loop. So like that little loop there, we could even throw it into the snippet. So I go to the plugin manager, install the snippets plugin. Aww, that's sad. The plugin didn't load. It needs pigments, I believe. So apt search. I don't know if it's better to put it through apt or do it through sure. Or do it straight through pip, but did I spell it right? Just missed the 3. That was nice. What a lovely suggestion. You are correct. Apt, that is what I meant. So now I thought that the dependency installation did work on Ubuntu out of the box. I'll have to double check that later. But snippets? Yeah. So like I could have rewritten that plugin in the snippet editor and then just kind of triggered it. So that's the other really long answer to like how you could do that. I hit the hotkey to switch back to virtual desktop from my other VM I'm still so used to, and it just happened to switch me to my browser, which is kind of what I wanted, which is hilarious. All right, so let's go back to our list of changes. So the issue database, all right, we wanted closed, and we wanted sorted by recently updated. I think actually we can do, yeah, there's a way to like filter to just show the ones after a certain date. And where is the, let's see, calendar. Oh, really? There's no more cal? That was my favorite command line tool. It just showed you like a calendar. Yeah, whatever. Let's just install it. And then so we wanted the 10th, cal 10, or it's by year. Okay. So today is November 12th. Yep, Friday. Okay, so 1, I'm real bad with dates. 2, 3. So it was, oh, that's right. October 22nd was on the list of, on the schedule when I was changing at the beginning of the stream. So we want it basically back to the 22nd. Although I forgot, it's GitHub. It just shows days ago, so it doesn't matter. We only need to go back until here. So the bug fix there, address-based highlights. Oh, wait, did that get closed because it's done? Or, oh, yeah. Yeah, right now this is not really doable, basically. Yeah, address-based highlighting. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I think the workaround, I wish that was documented a little better. I think the workaround was basically just, because there are address-based APIs. I'm not really sure I follow that one a whole lot, but that's all right. We'll go back to the previous page. So we got only one page of stuff to look through. Oh, there we go. So this is one of those that got done in a bug bash. You can turn off annotations. I have not seen this option, so let's see if we can go find it. Annotations. Show variable and integer annotations. And we can turn this off. And let's go open something up. Let's see what we get. It'll be especially obvious, like, yeah. Oh yeah, like Lilo Lyell, or sorry, Disassembly. if you really don't want to see any annotations, you just want disassembly. Okay, that's cool. I'm actually surprised that's the first, I think that's the first time we've probably gotten that request. Interesting. I didn't see that one actually go through. Oh, the combined log and Python console. Yeah, this is part of the refactor that landed. So you'll notice, good evening, Valgrind. Welcome. Good to see you. The log and Python console have their own little end, and I don't think I showed this. I may have demoed the preview before, which was not on the development branch, right? So the nice thing, it's complete though, and a couple other things happen to it. So this is also a little bit of a taste of what the main view I think is going to look like. It may not be exactly the same, but like among other things, right? So first, this left column is the whole width. It used to be the Python console would like cut this off, which was probably not a very good use of screen real estate. I definitely prefer this. And then I tend to like, put the Python console over here and with the log over there. But you can't just like move it around arbitrarily. Again, it's not like the whole doc widget setup that we had before. There's really only a couple of places you can put this stuff. It's meant to be a little bit more prescribed, so there's different things down here. Game Mind, that's a very good question. I would imagine it does if I understand how it probably got implemented. So let's turn it off and let's go to disassembly view and let's try an export of disassembly and see what it says. That's a good question. Make it test disassembly. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it's consistent. Yeah, because the way that the export assembly stuff is, it essentially uses the same rendering path. So I guessed that it would, and it looks like that is indeed the case. And now just to confirm, if we turn it back on, and then we reopen that file, and we switch to disassembly, and yes, we have many more annotations now. So let's like take this address here, and let's export linear disassembly, and we'll save this one separately. And yeah, exactly. Now we do see annotations. Yep. So that's exactly what you would want. Yeah, good question. I'm glad we checked that. So yeah, so login console again kind of got cleaned up a little bit, and the other thing is again the way you can split these or kind of merge them back into one, and then like this sort of like the way you split these. That's kind of the prototype for what we're gonna see when we've got the redone view up here. We suspect. I mean, we're still Rusty's working on it, and it's kind of gonna be just a lot of just sort of testing and tweaking and figuring out how the UI is gonna work. But the idea is so that you can, instead of right now where you have reflection. Show reflection view, right? And you can sort of move it to the side, you can move it over here, and it can't really do like linear splits, and it takes up the whole thing. Actually, I think, can you put it in here? I don't remember. Yeah, this is the part that's kind of annoying about doc widgets. They're just really fiddly to get them exactly the way that you want. And like, again, you can only do graph view, you can't do linear view in the current reflection, right? But so the new plan is going to be this main view area right now, and it's going to behave a lot more like you're seeing with the log window, where you can like make new splits. You could be like, I just want to see low level, medium level, and assembly, and then split them all up. I could grab one over here and then grab another one and put it down below. Let's see, we would combine them. So right now it's a little bit simpler because it's really only these two. Although I think you can, yeah. So when you get close to the middle, it splits in that direction. That's cool. I think you can add your own items to this. I don't know if there's any plugins that do it yet, but hey, Brinley, welcome. Yes, I am feeling better. I have like a little tiny cough occasionally. I haven't yet. I think I've been pretty good, but I am feeling much better. And I actually came into the office yesterday as well too. I was feeling like I waited till I had a couple days of no symptoms before I came back into the office, and we're like starting to have more and more people show up. So it's been a lot of fun, like being able to actually like be in person. So. Yeah, Brinley, we just showed off the ability to turn off annotations. You've got now export linear disassembly, or actually, again, this is misnamed. So we do need to fix like the text here. It should be context sensitive. So if you're in like Here, that shouldn't actually say disassembly. It should say export linear low-level IL or whatever it actually is. But actually, if I'm in graph view, what does it do? Does it do the graph just that function? I'm curious. Huh. Well, it says low-level IL, but is it the whole thing or just the function? Make a test. Low-level IL. It is the whole thing. Okay, so right now, yeah, it's just like the whole file. I mean, it was always pretty, you could literally just copy and paste if you just wanted a single function, so I guess that's not as important. But yeah, the current one just takes whatever IL or assembly or whatever view you're in. Yeah, exactly. I had a little snippet that kind of did this. Actually, I even had like a snippet that started to get a little too fancy, and it would like ask you all the different options and set the disassembly options and which view you wanted, and then I was kind of fighting with UI. So it is interesting how Andrew's like native version, it's just really clean. It's just like, where do you want the file to go? But it still gives you the settings, because you can, like, for example, I have addresses turned on here, right? So you can see the IL index and the native address. But if I go to my options and I turn off show address, I'm not going to get either one of those. And now if I export linear, so it gives you the same ability to do all this stuff. You just do it kind of via the reload the file. Oh, look, addresses are gone, right? Perfect. So you can still do all that stuff. You just don't do it as a separate UI dialog. I think that's a pretty nice approach, actually. I'm kind of a fan. It just needs to be renamed. But so let's go back to what else we got. What else landed? Oh yeah, I did that one. That's right. So you can now do dev.api. Wait, dev-api. I think it's dev-api.binary, right? Yeah, there we go. So if you are tired of having to go look at your offline docs, and you can see this is already the new style of docs here, you can pull that up from your phone, or you can pull it up wherever you're at, even if you don't have Binja on it. So all the dev builds automatically have their API docs there, and I think just user docs are just dev-docs.binary. So the getting started guide, any of the changes and features here are. Kyle, you missed the joke about me being secretly William. I already said that it's just like, I do that so that when, if people see malware written with the username of William, they don't know it's me, but I don't actually write malware, so it's just a joke, but oh well. But yeah, that's the full story is that his name is William Gruffus. He's one of the Billy Goat brothers, and I have no idea where that came from. It's just a completely random thing that I started doing years ago, and it's just, yeah, helpful. I wanted like throwaway VMs that I didn't really care, and this reminds me to not put anything important in it when I had that name on it. That's like test VM. So, all right, let's see. Back under our issues, what else do we got? Got some bug fix, crash, UI lag. Oh, I think, is that the one Glenn? I thought I saw Glenn did some tag stuff that may have been previous. UI lag while analyzing due to type view updates. Oh, okay, this is one that saw that Shushung fixed. Okay, just oh, that's right. This was the performance bug, I think, that was really causing some issues for a lot of folks, actually. Like when you loaded debug symbols. Oh, that's even better. It's will.i.am. You know what's crazy? I literally never got that before. I'm embarrassed to admit. William is literally just will.i.am, like the musician. Is his name just William and he goes by will.i.am? I feel like a fool. How have I never ever noticed that? That's amazing. That's really, really funny. All right, crash fix, some lifting fixing, some improvements to the ability to build plugins and to build things from the native API and like the C++ API, not just Python. Oh, is this a setting? This is interesting. Pick a new. Oh, that was an old fix though. Yeah, it just got closed out. Default display type for integers. I don't actually know that setting though. Let's see here. It is. I don't know which setting that is. New default display type for integers. It's not under integers. Display. I do like this setting on while I'm in here. Yeah, I don't actually know where that setting is. I'm not sure where that one is. I'll have to figure that one out later. Yeah, the logs, that stuff got fixed. PySide 2, PySide 6. Oh wait, I think I worked on this one, right? Yeah, this is a little one I did, a little bug fix. Um, yeah, this is a little minor, but if you had like a really long opcode, and actually here's an example of it. The UI wouldn't actually show it, so assemble x86 assemble, make a function. And if I show opcodes bytes, again, the other way I could have done that was via the options menu down there. Right, this little truncation thing would happen. So I think if you just Control C to copy it now, it still copies the whole thing. It used to just copy the string. Little tiny fix, but I did it, so I get to show it off. That's the joys of being the streamer. What else we got? It's improved default styles. Yeah, just improving some of the UI stuff from the plugin manager. ARMv7 big endian. Oh yeah, that's right. So I forgot about this. We actually, yeah. Oh, it's not a setting, Peter says, about the default display type. All right, I'm curious what that changed then. At least I couldn't figure it out myself from the description. So yeah, so ARMBE is like a weird architecture, just big endian ARM, but I forget what it changed and what it doesn't. It's kind of a strange one, but I guess we just have support for it. Relocations, however, I think were broken on this, right? Is what this particular was. Yeah, either or some other like pointer reference in the view. And so Peter got that one fixed. That's real nice. It's a kind of useful one. Oh yeah. This was a really good. Is this the one that Glenn worked on? Yeah, Glenn did this one. Yeah, like all of the tooltips. This was actually really good. So I think this may be for quite a while we had sort of a disparity between like graph view and linear view in terms of like there would be like things that really would only work in one versus the other. And I think we find like I can just hover this and I can see the hex values, and I can do the same thing now here. Excuse me. So there were a couple of those other tooltips like with the possible value set analysis, which is really nice. Like right there. In this case, it's not particularly useful because it's pretty much anything. But lots of times when our value set analysis was able to narrow ranges of things, you could just hover it and you could see that information. And that wasn't there in linear view, but it is now because Glenn landed that. So that's actually a very nice, it's a good bug from Toolchains and good work from Glenn to fix that. There's our disassembly to text, which we already showed off. Oh, this is one that Peter did too. Yeah, the warning editing bikes. Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting case, right? Like relocations, right? The whole point of that is that the file format itself says, when the loader loads my binary into memory, I know that I'm going to rewrite bytes at these offsets. That's how you're going to fix up and connect me to the other libraries that you've loaded in memory so that they're like appropriately linked and I can just call into them. Like you fix it up, loader, you put those correct addresses there. But those relocations then, like if you use Binary Ninja as just a hex editor, you want to patch something and change it, if you change it, but then it's also going to have something else changed on top of it in terms of like when it's loaded, like you're not going to get what you expect. And so there's sort of two ways we could have addressed that are one, try to figure out a way to understand what the relocation will do, invert that, and then apply that back to the file. And that's really hard. In particular, it's hard because there's just a crazy number of relocations and they're architecture specific and they're file format specific. There's a lot of these combinations of them, so relocations are a ton of work. So we settled on a compromise, which is just a little bit easier, which specifically it's like, you can still do it. We're just going to let you know. So at least you don't get surprised, surprised when like you write a byte and then it's totally wrong when you reload the file. It's like, well, it is. We wrote those bytes you asked us to write, but then relocations are applied kind of on top of that. Brinley, you were trying to describe, oh yeah. You mean highlights, like the tooltips and yeah, getting things consistent between those two views. I assume you're talking about between graph and linear, the one that Toolchains reported that I mentioned. All right. Yeah, so that was the warn there. Template simplification. Oh, I didn't actually see this one before. Oh, interesting. Okay, so somewhere along the line now, better demangling, or not demangling rather, the template simplification, right? So Kyle worked on the system that would actually take a lot of like, C++ templates that are very like you don't really need to see all the boilerplate every single time there's one of those called. And so there's a template simplifier, which is that actually, that's a good question. Is that still off by default? For a while it was. So yeah, it actually is still off by default. So come to think of it, if Kyle, if you're still watching, we should like consider maybe turning that on. I think you're a little more cautious about it, but that feels like something we should probably do. Yeah, actually, that's really nice. That's a good example there, right? Where you can see how it simplifies the names. Yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, I usually just use tooltips to describe them, but as well. In fact, that's also why for me, I actually disable them. I usually turn this one on a lot of the time because when I'm streaming or if I'm showing something off and I'm just pointing at like something, I don't want that pop up. So I leave that setting on where I've got to hold down, yeah, was it shift or control? Control. I have to hold down control if I want the tooltip to pop up, and that by default it won't. So I can just point with my mouse and not have it up. So I actually like that one, and that one does use tooltip. But yeah, so just an improvement. It's now if that, but that still requires that setting to be on. So yeah, Kyle, we should put a little note to ourselves and remember like, hey, is it worth maybe enabling that by default? We should figure that out. This was probably the easiest bug I've ever fixed. Create an empty file and commit it to the repo. Can do, although I did also make these changes as well, which was provided in literally a one-liner from SED, just to kind of help some of the formatting. So this apparently helps MyPy's type checking. I wasn't really aware of that you have to have like this particular sort of marker flag in there that tells it like, yes, we have type information. And then there was sort of like a real kind of subtle gotcha where you had like a comment and a type hint, and you want to add another hash in there. So that was pretty easy fix. This is another one I think from Kyle, right? That yeah, these I don't remember as much, but this one, let's see. Yeah, so this is one that you're actually filed. And the idea is that the variable list, right, didn't show all the variables used. Yeah, so what variables are shown when, and not too many or not too few, has been something that I think has been an issue. So, and yeah, that's oh, that makes sense. Yeah, so Kyle has also been working on variable aliasing. So being able to like list when variables are aliased is a whole new API that he actually added for some of the stuff he's working on. And so that I think is, they're showing up in list, and there's also a separate set of new APIs you can use to query those. So, okay, that's all the updates that I can think of. There may be some other ones, but let's actually get to the fun part. So I have a test branch that Zane is working on, and if let's see, let's bring up the test build. It needs some more testing and review. So it's not going to be live on dev quite yet, but hopefully before too long, we'll be able to get y'all a look at this. And let's see, I kind of teased a little bit already in the tweet. So if you saw that, let's see, I switch over to, wait, where is it? Oh no, where'd it go? It was source view, right? Is it the right version? Yeah, tool change. That was. I'm very glad you filed that. And like I said, I think, and let me know if y'all find anything. I think that may be the sort of one of the last like standing like kind of rule of disparities between linear advanced. Oh, it is under advanced style forms. I don't. So that's yeah. This is actually, this used to be hidden behind the setting game mind. We actually added this now in all of them. We just put them in a subfolder. These are all like the extra ILs. So it's not, this is not anything new. That's been there for a while. Wait, indent highlight file function body? Oh, that's right. I do remember that setting too. We had a little debate over that one there, earlier. I like it. But like, so by default, you get like do you want this initial indentation from the function prototype down to like the first line of it? You can actually turn that on or off. But I definitely like it on. I think it makes it more consistent. But it does waste up a little bit of space. Oh, I'm on the wrong build. Thank you, Glenn. 3121. Although this will also show off how fast updates are these days, which is nice. Wait, did that build not succeed? Oh no, I'm in the wrong. Okay, hold on. I thought, oh, I know. I manually copied this build over. I'm glad this license key has access to the test builds. So I can get it that way. Oh, right. Don't blink or you miss it. It's almost done updating. Partly that's because we're going to similar builds, and partly that's because the documentation changes that are there. We have way less small little files that are churning. Although even this is taking a lot longer than it did for me earlier. It was real fast earlier. But let me, oh, and actually, oh, you know what? Oh, that's right. 31, I know what happened. Yeah. That was my fault. I updated to the wrong test build. But this one will do it. It's already gone through the build system. Okay. So let's see if we have a new option down here. Oh, this looks different. Oh, let's get rid of that menu. Hold on. Keep that out of the way. This looks different. Language representations. Why, yes, please. Show me some C, please. So, hey, I mean, that's starting to look a little bit like sleep. Wait, hold on. This is not going to work, right? No, there's no way this is going to work. Wait a minute. Does that work? I'm going to be shocked if this works. I don't think that was even tested. Wait. It does work. Zane, you should let me know in chat. Did you actually test that, or did that just happen to work? Yeah. Oh, is that because, you know what? That's a good point. I bet if you don't have braces turned on the high level aisle view, that should always be on if you do the language view. So that's a note for you. Zane, are you listening to the stream? Hold on a second. Zane's right next door. Aww. No, Zane's not there. All right. Must have stepped in the other room for something. Oh, that's fine. I was just yelling at you on stream. Isn't that what we do? Okay.
Yeah, put it in the Slack that you can turn on any option that you want. So you can have it with braces off if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that. Okay, so the answer is that's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you want to have ugly C, you can.
if you want to have ugly C, you can. There we go. And actually, hold on. I'm gonna go braces. I'm gonna go braces new line. I'm living on the edge here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so braces new line. And okay. All right, so apparently that was tested. I'm just behind. I didn't know it had been tested. Very nice though. I'm a fan. So I can actually let's see, reload the file. Let's find main again. Okay. That's pretty good. Oh, no on the new lines. Yeah, so you're braces but no new lines. Is that the correct answer, Amy? Okay. I mean, this one's a little bit big, and we don't currently properly handle all the stuff in between. But that's not far off from being just please dump and let me compile it. We need to handle imports actually, and oh, and there's also, let's see, there's also I think I was told, where to go, that there is a .h file. Yeah, so there's this, which is not currently, again, part of why this is not landed yet on dev, but this sort of nope. Oh no, is my copy and paste buffer in this VM not right? Oh, good. Show my config there. Yeah, that should be good. Wait, why? Okay, why are there weird new lines in my copy paste buffer? So let's see. Okay, there we go. Can I zoom it? I don't know how to do that. All right. Anyway, so I don't know if it's IDDefs or exactly what the name of the file is, but if you're exporting things, then it's going to use these kind of like intrinsic sort of style operations or whatever, just little macros that we're using to access partial registers and stuff. Those are going to get exported here. So eventually these will also be included in those exports. When you export, it'll automatically include those, or there'll be a way to have them both. Yeah. So like that's pretty close though. Again, you want to like not include, I guess, like the sections and segments and like the raw hex, and then it's getting much closer. That is really coming along. The other thing to note is that so there is the if we actually go find the issue for this particular feature, and it was decompile C, I think. Yeah, decompile to C. Okay. So Zane added. Oh, nice. Been busy, huh? There we go. So this was literally 4 hours ago. We were talking, and I said, "Oh, can you just put the operations that are not yet handled on a ticket so we can track it?" And the ones that are checked have literally been done in the last few hours. So those are I don't know if those necessarily align with the build, the test build here that I've got, but it's coming along quite nicely, right? So again, yeah. All right, let me see. I saw a question. Is it read-only, or can you actually do stuff with it? Let's find out. Looks like a real view to me. I can name this to something else. I can display as maybe a decimal value here. I never can find decimal. Why is it always unsigned decimal? I feel like we need like common ones up top, but anyway, yeah. So that is a fully interactive view. Yeah. And I mean, I think the original request for this particular feature was, hey, like, let's just get a quick and dirty dump something to a text file to see for now. So this is a little bit of overachieving maybe going on, but it looks really nice. So yeah, it's let me see. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. And navigate still, yeah, like all of the usual stuff. Yeah, now there are some binaries, so let's check out our sample folder. Oh, I didn't actually sync that. Hold on, let's see. Let's copy these in. Okay. So if we add some more like test binaries, there's a couple in here I know that we're exhibiting what happens when we run into opcodes that aren't yet currently handled. Oh, Zane says look at it in graph view. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. So this was fun because it is like graph C basically, right? And so we were kind of debating that. I think the company was currently split between this is terrible, what are you doing, and I love it, this is my new default view. So there was some strong opinions. But yeah, so you can actually like render the high level IL in something it's more C compatible. I mean, this, arguably it is still high level IL. This is really more like just like a representation layer. Oh wait, did I switch to high level IL? It actually is high level IL. Oops. Okay. Oh, that's right. I should look for the semicolons. There we go. So there's graph. Yeah. Graph C. It's interesting. I'm curious, like whether a view like this ever like takes off, even like in an IDE or something, when you're kind of looking at like code or like large pieces of code. Like, is there any kind of a place for something like this? I don't know. Like, is that ever something? I don't know that I would use it, but and like, how would you just editing code? Like, could you like have a code editor that actually work like this, where you could just write C? But yeah. I will say though, like this is definitely coming along nicely. It's like a real another view. But oh really? That's cool. So yeah, Amy, are there what are the IDEs or tools that support that? And yes, if I missed that question about single function linear view, yes, is planned. Oh, that's fair. That's true. Like game dev, like what's the drag and drop block programming kind of style thing that Unity has for like their scripting engine? Is it the whatever it is? Yeah. Um, yeah. So part of the same refactor that's doing like the split. Oh, that's true. Blender has it. Oh, is it Unreal? I thought it was Unity. How maybe they both? Yeah. I mean, I know there's obviously a lot of like Scratch style stuff too, but Blueprints. That's okay. It is Unreal. Thank you. Yeah, both of you guys. Yeah, both y'all. Um, that was a that makes sense. Yeah, and I guess yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could totally see somebody who's used to like programming that preferring to look at C like that in particular, even or disassembling and actually like wanting that. I think we're still running into some of our graph layout inefficiencies, like the way that this is laid out really should be improved a little bit. There's some room there, but okay. So if I hit space and I'm back to looks like C to me. It is funny that it takes me a second too, though. And I'm actually really looking forward to the showing what view you're in when you're in that view. Yeah, I guess just semicolons. Just look for semicolons as the cheat hack way of doing it. And actually, yeah, see, but it is interesting. I still like high level IL better, right? Like you lose argument names, for example, which is something that's kind of nice in high level IL. But there's definitely a reason for it, I feel like. Yeah, Dataflow Edges. So Peter actually experimented for a while with doing some really interesting stuff with like just Dataflow graphs in general, right? So like taking the transformations in the Dataflow graphs and rendering them using the flow graph API. And actually Kyle's got some of that stuff too, actually, from what Kyle's been working on some nifty things that maybe will be, I don't know if it'll be ready super soon to show off, but yeah, like actually able to visualize sort of like if you're familiar with like program slices, but like variable slices. So there's some interesting things happening with that as well. But yep, so this is coming along, and in fact, I had not even tried this branch in a while, so that's much further along than I thought it was. That's looking really, really good. I mean, just the fact that like I'm glad you asked the question about is it usable, because I hadn't even expected that, because originally that wasn't part of the sort of design requirement. But I'm not gonna complain about that being a thing if I mean, yeah, like literally I have to go look at semicolons. And I mean, to some degree, we've always said that we knew there would be, let's go find one of those binaries that maybe doesn't render right so we can see what that looks like. And there are definitely some known bugs. Yeah, this is just a blob of binary from something. And let's just make just let Linear Sweep go find some code. So this is a whole bunch of random code that does, I don't know, stuff. But if I switch over into, I guess we need a hotkey for it now too. Let's see if we can go find some operations. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. No, that's actually, I mean, that works. That just requires the macro, right? Like there's the roll instruction. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, okay. So we've got a tooltip. I'm going to hold down Control and hover it so we can actually see it. Unresolved, right? So we've got a jump table that we can't resolve here. Again, that kind of makes sense because this was just like a random blob of code extracted from a much larger binary, I think. And so we don't really know where the jump table goes, all the possible targets. And so whenever there's something that can't actually be handled in the decompilation or in the the high level IL or the output to the C view, it just puts it in a comment. So that's the current sort of failure case, is like just throw in a comment. Now it's interesting, right? Because sometimes depending on where these comments get put, like if they're in multiple if conditions, they won't properly, like the program will not compile. But it may still be relatively parsable. It's a test bit, yeah. So some of those operations we're getting. There's one undefined, so we've got an undefined instruction that was. So there's a couple of an unimplemented one. Okay, so undefined is the low level L, I think, is actually undefined, right? Let's actually look at this. Oh no, that's like literally, yeah, literally not even a valid instruction. So this is because we're disassembling stuff that might include sort of trash. I don't know if this is data or code or what it is, but it makes for a nice stress test. So that's what we're getting when we see the undefined. But we also saw, where'd it go? It was one of them that said unimplemented. Actually, I could find, it should just be text. Unimplemented. Yeah. Yeah, so there are some situations. Oh, wait, no, hold on. This is not, I'm no longer in language view. I'm in high level IL. It's really easy to get lost in the two of them. Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so on the topic of language specific outputs, that's definitely definitely on the roadmap. We wanted to get out the C one for 3.0 because it's kind of at the top of most people's wish list. And there's a lot of other useful things that you can do with it, right? So we've got another plugin that maybe I'll be able to show off next week that leverages this in a really, really nice way, I think. But the longer term plan is also to really think about like what does decompilation to other languages look like. And we don't mean decompilation of other languages, but to other languages, right? So yeah, how does that work? And I think that's going to be more work, but also more interesting. And it's going to take a lot more kind of thought. But the idea of like having the ability, because like there's certain things that would like leverage the new workflows API, right? So for example, if I open up a Go binary, all that Go debugging information, all of the stuff that is in the standard runtime, like you want to like change how you analyze that particular binary based on the fact that like this is a Go binary, and so you would load all that information, and then maybe you also want to change the display of the output. So you're going to maybe load extra debugging information. Maybe you're going to rewrite the IL sum based on like code patterns, like how they would be better represented. And so maybe you're actually like rewriting the IL, or maybe you're just doing display layer stuff. So you want to do kind of all of those things and make that a whole suite of like decompile Go, decompile Rust, decompile, all these different languages. So yeah, what does SIMD actually look like? That is a good question. There's probably some in here, honestly. That might be what some of these undefines are. No, those are literally undefined instructions. I mean, we could do something really crazy. I don't know if our assembler assembles like AES instructions. I mean, any unhandled, unlifted instruction is either going to show up as, yeah, there we go. So there's one that will break it, right? Like this is clearly not valid C. So wait, am I even in? I'm not even in language view. Okay. I think something I'm doing, I'm like switching. I bet if I hit space twice. No? Okay. I'm doing something and switching back to high level IL. That's probably a hotkey I'm hitting. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's a good example where decompiled a WebAssembly to JavaScript. So here's a good example where we're gonna get invalid C, right? We don't actually like bool a1 equals and then it's a comment. There's no actual thing there that's like not valid, but it at least will parse. Like if you want to use tree sitter or something like that, similar, like you might be able to actually get an AST out of it, even if it's not quite valid or something close. Or maybe there may still be some more things we have to do. Again, oh, here's another good one. This line definitely has some stuff that will break it, right? So yeah, again, little bit of work to be done, but oh, parity. Yeah, so then again, this one's just kind of got a bunch of random stuff, including some garbage, but it's a good test. So let's look at some more results. Here's some random things. So I wonder if now what was the name of that thing? I'm gonna bind that to a hotkey. Wait, what does the C hotkey do? Does it do anything right now? Haha, I have a new hotkey. No, I already forgot it. What was it called again? It was language to C representation. That's the word I'm gonna look for. Yes, representation is important. You see what I did there? Okay. Let's just make that C. I don't think that has a conflict. Maybe it does. Is that why the color changed? Hold on, let me see here. Oh, that just means user setting. Yeah, the color's for user settings. It doesn't actually conflict with anything, I don't think, because I sorted by what is. Okay, well, that was weird. Don't go. Oh, I think I'm going out of my VM when I scroll like that. Okay. All right. So now I should be able to like hit H, or no, that's hex view. All right. So I, C. Ooh, there we go. You can go from L, C. There we go. That's not a bad default, maybe. But again, when we expand it to other languages, that probably will need to change. So cool. All right. How are we doing on time? We're an hour in. Let's see. Yeah, I think that might be it for this week. I'm gonna kind of let it go from here. Like I said, I think next week, I debated working on a plugin that would actually use this, because there is actually, well, I mean, there already is that export view really is super nice. Lets you just quickly dump out, because I think most of the time, if you, for most purposes, like just interactively doing stuff, again, I actually argue that high-level IL is a little bit better. I think it does some things a little bit more nicely. But here's one that will change a lot more if I look at it in C view. But I don't know, a lot of people might prefer C view. But either way, being able to like export it is also one of the main goals, I think. And so just being able to like take the whole thing and then dump it all out. We're pretty close to having something that you could much more easily parse, analyze, maybe not compile. Like this is this. Well, I think we need to get more complete on the instructions, but could be compilable soon. Which is funny because this has never been like, it's never been one of our highest goals. I think it's obvious from both the way that IDA and Gira do decompilation that the ability to be something that can be recompiled is sort of a it's important. It's part of the design goal, and we explicitly just didn't make that part of our design goal. Part of our design was making the best representation and simple human understanding, and an API and ILs that would be good for automation, that kind of stuff. But with this, I think we're sort of kind of backing into like, it'll be, much more straightforward, and maybe we can just kind of build the stuff. I think this syntax is fine, right? Like I want to remember, I think it's either this or something like this you can do. You can do in C syntax, but I forget the exact quirk there. But yeah, obviously other sections and just text blobs. Actually, I think just putting hex blobs in comments and section names in comments as well might just fix up a lot of this, and then you could just feed it in. So cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming back out. It was good to see folks again. I think this is a nice feature that I'm looking forward to getting out to everybody. So hopefully, like I said, no promises. I don't know what remains yet to both finish out some of those kind of remaining HLIL instruction types, as well as like I said, it just needs some code review. This is a pretty big new, like having this whole other new language representation and like what do the APIs look like. And we tend to kind of want to be making sure we're careful when we push something new like that. And again, for the language agnostic stuff and the language, like multiple languages, eventually, like there's kind of much bigger, longer term plans for a lot of other things. This was originally quick and dirty. It's not so dirty and still pretty quick. So I'm very happy with it. But this was meant to be just something to get just C out. And then I think we're going to kind of really step back and think about, okay, how do we build a system that's extensible? I think it was Amy even mentioned, like, can you add your own, right? Like it would be really nice if this was extensible in some way. And I very much think that with workflows in particular, that enables a lot of the things you would need. So just making sure, like on the display side, that we have the ability to render things as a plugin in some other language would be pretty nifty. So cool. All right. Well, if there's no other questions or feedback, I think I'm probably gonna head out. But we'll be back, like I said, next week. And not sure what the agenda will be, but thanks. Yeah, Dan, I'm excited about this. I think this is really nice and came a long way. Like literally just in the last week, I'm really impressed. So it's really exciting, like how fast features have been kind of coming out. We really do have a lot of stuff. So sweet. All right, we'll talk to everybody later. Have a good one.